Limpert, council members Kelly, Glassburn, Williamson, Heeman, Council President Jones, Directors Garreau and Lieber, Mayor Kennedy, and guests. We're here to discuss a liquor permit transfer. Liquor permit number 7750653, which would transfer from Buckeye Lounge Incorporated, 24488 Lorraine Road, North Olmsted, Ohio 44070, to Roll House North Olmsted LLC, also located at 24488 Lorraine Road, North Olmsted, Ohio. There is no objection from the police department. And so at this time, I'll open it up to questions or comments from committee. Seeing none, council? Seeing none as well. At this time, I'll make a motion to not object to all of council liquor permit number 7750653 and ask for a second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That'll pass 3-0. And our meeting will conclude at 7:43 p.m.
We'd like to call the caucus meeting of October 19th, 2021 to order. Present are council members Broussard, Williamson, Limpert, Heeman, Glassburn, Kelly, the mayor, law director, finance director, planning and development director, our clerk of council, and our guests this evening. Are there any additions or corrections to the caucus meeting minutes of October 5th, 2021? Seeing none, those will stand as written. Moving into committee assignments for our legislation on first reading. Ordinance 2021-63, Finance. Resolution 2021-64, BZD. Resolution 2021-65 and Resolution 2021-66, Public Safety. And ordinances 2021-67 and 2021-68, Finance. Looking into scheduling committee meetings for next Tuesday, October 26th. Councilman Broussard.
Thank you, Madam President. We will schedule a Public Safety, Health and Welfare Committee meeting beginning at 7 p.m. Just looking at the agenda, we should probably need about 15 minutes, 7 to 7:15.
Thank you. Councilwoman Williamson.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to schedule a BZD committee meeting at 7:15 to discuss Resolution 2021-64 and a conditional use permit for Smoke City Vape. How about 15 minutes? 7:30?
Okay. Thank you. And Vice Chair of Finance, Councilman Broussard.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll schedule a Finance Committee meeting beginning at 7:30 p.m. I believe that will be the last committee to go, correct? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, seeing no other business before us, we will conclude our caucus meeting at 7:48 p.m. and we will rejoin at our normal council meeting at 8 p.m. Thank you. The council meeting of October 19th, 2021 will now please come to order. The audience is invited to join council in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Broussard?
Present.
Mr. Glassburn?
Here.
Ms. Heeman? Here. Mr. Kelly?
Here.
Mr. Limper?
Present.
Mr. Schuman? Ms. Williamson?
Here. If there are no additions or corrections, the council meeting minutes of October 5th, 2021 are approved as written. Mayor Kennedy, do you have a report this evening?
Madam President, I do. Short one. We are gearing up for the second annual Trek at the Rec event, which is October 29th. We are looking forward to a great time and keeping our fingers crossed for good weather, unlike last year. And the Rec Center is hosting a youth lacrosse try-it free day. Any girl or boy grades 2nd through 8th are welcome to attend. Check the website for dates and times. And Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Law Director Garreau, do you have a report this evening?
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a brief report. The City of North Olmsted versus Amanda Ramos on October 14th. A pretrial was held in Rocky River Municipal Court on the criminal charges related to the dog bite. There was no resolution reached at that time. The matter will be scheduled for additional proceedings. We expect at some point will be scheduled for trial. Additionally, in the matter of North Olmsted versus Amanda Ramos et al. In the Caucus County Court of Common Pleas, case 21-950-697. That's a civil case. That matter is scheduled for 10/20 for a case management conference. In the meantime, the City of North Olmsted moved for an injunction, a preliminary injunction to enforce the court order, and we would ask for an immediate hearing on that because we don't believe there's an issue. There was no appeal taken from the order. The order is final and it's enforceable. We're going to ask that the court enforces the order that was issued by the proceedings here in North Olmsted. And that would we have a property. The issue of the Westbury came back up. We've talked about that in the past. The Westbury, the high-rise, a number of property maintenance violations that we've been dealing with over the course of time, and it's a case that's gone on for quite a while. But anyways, the case will be set for. It's been deferred for sentencing. A plea was taken. And we expect to see that case resolved in favor of the city, and we would expect to see that the court would impose a fine and additional restrictions. It's kind of interesting because there's a civil case and there's also the criminal case, and what has happened is there's some banking that's got involved, some financing, and we've got a third-party player that's involved in the civil case, which has helped the city be able to achieve a result that we think is best for the residents of North Olmsted. So with that in mind, with our fingers crossed, that case should be resolving as well. So the criminal case will be resolved. It's set for sentence, and then hopefully the civil case will also be winding up as well, and we'll get a satisfactory result for the city, get the property maintenance violations taken care of, and ensure that we have a safe building and people in the community are safe and it's well maintained. So that's the plan. I just want to bring you up to date on those issues, and thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Finance Director Kopfer, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Madam President. Director Lieber and I met to improve on the rolling 5-year capital plan process for the 2022 coming year and the information that it provides. We are also making an effort to have some key shovel-ready projects in the works in the event that the infrastructure bill, spending bill passes Congress, and we need to competitively apply for those. We met with our healthcare brokers regarding next year's renewal. Through negotiation, Medical Mutual reduced their initial rate offering for administrative and stop-loss insurance by nearly $30,000. Still, with that equating to a 10.7% increase from this year's rates based on claims experience. These fixed costs, however, only represent 15% of the total cost of our maximum cost of our healthcare plan, as the paid claims represent the 85%, or $4.4 million. And that claims increase, they're projecting a 4% increase, which is within industry norms. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving into council committee reports, Councilman Broussard, Chairman of the Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee, do you have a report this evening?
I do, Madam President. The Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee met this evening, October 19, 2021, beginning at 7:41 p.m. to discuss a liquor permit transfer. This would be a transfer from Buckeye Lounge Incorporated, located at 24488 Lorraine Road, North Olmsted, Ohio, to Roll House North Olmsted LLC, also located at 24488 Lorraine Road, North Olmsted, Ohio. This would be liquor permit number 7750653. No objection by the police department. Apologies, I forgot to mention who was present. Committee members Broussard, Williamson, Limpert, council members Heeman, Glassburn, and Kelly, the mayor, directors Garreau and Lieber, council president Jones, and guests. Motion was made by myself to not object to all of council, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson, passed by a vote of 3-0. So at this time, Madam President, I move to not object to all of council liquor permit transfer number 7750653, transferring from Buckeye Lounge Incorporated to Roll House North Olmsted LLC, and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to not object to liquor permit number 7750653, made by Councilman Broussard, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Broussard?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
That motion passes with a vote of 6-0.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee meeting concluded at 7:43 p.m., and that will conclude my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Williamson, Chairwoman of the Building, Zoning, and Development Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Broussard, Vice Chairman of the Finance Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilman Limpert, Chairman of the Streets and Transportation Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report this evening, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Heeman, Chairwoman of the Environmental Control Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Glassburn, Chairman of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Kelly, Chairman of the Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any letters or communications to come before council at this time?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. We'd like to welcome you all to our council meeting this evening with a special welcome to our Scouts BSA Troop 700 from right here in North Olmsted. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to address council, please come to the podium, state your full name and address for our clerk. If you live in a city other than North Olmsted, please state the name of that city and proceed with your comments. You have up to 5 minutes to address council. Seeing no comments from our audience, council will now move into legislation.
Legislation on third reading. Resolution 2021-59, introduced by Mayor Kennedy. A resolution authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for the award of a contract to purchase concrete materials and related supplies for the year 2022 as detailed in the specifications on file with the engineer, and authorizing the mayor, following approval of the Board of Control, to contract for the same with the lowest and best bidder.
Madam President,
Councilman Limpert.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2021-59. Ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2021-59 made by Councilman Limpert, seconded by Councilman Kelly. Roll call, please.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Broussard?
Yes.
Resolution 2021-59 is adopted with a vote of 6-0.
Legislation on first reading. Ordinance 2021-63. An ordinance to make and transfer appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the City of North Olmsted for the year ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Madam President?
Mayor.
I'd like to introduce, place on first reading.
Resolution 2021-64, a resolution authorizing the Director of Human Resources to solicit proposals from qualified lawn care service providers to perform nuisance abatement work for 2022 and 2023, and further authorizing the mayor, subject to approval of the Board of Control, to enter into a contract for lawn care services.
Madam President?
Mayor.
I'd like to introduce, place on first reading.
Resolution 2021-65, a resolution dispensing with the formal RFP process and authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement with Pradco to provide pre-employment testing and police and fire promotional testing services and declaring an emergency.
Madam President? I'd like to introduce, place on first reading.
Resolution 2021-66, a resolution dispensing with the formal RFP process and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Personal Selection Services to provide entry-level and written promotional testing services and declaring an emergency.
Madam President?
Mayor.
Introduce, place on first reading.
Ordinance 2021-67, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the North Olmsted Board of Education to exchange school district-owned real property, PPN 234-21-009, for city-owned real property, PPN 234-16-004, via land exchange as authorized by the Ohio Revised Code, subsection 3313.40, for the purpose of acquiring land for necessary public infrastructure improvements.
Madam President?
Mayor.
I'd like to introduce, place on first reading.
Ordinance 2021-68, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the State of Ohio Department of Transportation for the purpose of acquiring state-owned property for local public purpose.
Madam President?
Mayor.
Introduce, place on first reading.
Thank you. Looking to schedule our council committee meetings for next Tuesday, October 26th. Councilman Broussard.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll schedule a Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee meeting beginning at 7 p.m., should run to 7:15 p.m., to discuss 2021-65 and 66. And I'll ask that the HR Director be present. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Williamson.
I'd like to schedule a Building, Zoning, and Development Committee at 7:15 p.m. to discuss Resolution 2021-64 and address the Smoke City Vape Shop conditional use permit. I would ask that our Planning Director be present and any of the mayor's designee, if he so chooses. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Broussard.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll schedule a Finance Committee meeting beginning at 7:30. We're going to discuss three items. The first is 2021-63. I'll ask that the Finance Director be present. And then 2021-67 and 68. I'll ask that the Mayor and Law Director be present. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the floor to excuse the absence of Councilman Schuman from tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to excuse the absence of Councilman Schuman from tonight's meeting made by Councilman Limpert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Broussard?
Yes.
Mr. Glassbone?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Councilman Schuman has been excused from tonight's meeting with a vote of 6-0. With the agenda being completed and there being no further business to come before council, this meeting of October 19th, 2021 is adjourned at 8:14 p.m.